Hello, good evening. Thank you for coming to this session. I really appreciate. So, as it is the last session, I want to make it more fun, and I'm going to share my own experience, whatever I really experienced, and maybe you will learn from my mistakes. Yep. So, first of all, I want to know who is already working in Kotlin or trying to migrate Java to Kotlin. Okay, great. So hopefully my speech is going to be useful for you. So first of all, let me introduce you myself. Okay, my full name is Kyrmyzy, but you can call me Kira. So from this nickname, you can find me in Twitter, in Instagram. I'm 3 years old Android developer, around 9 months old Kotlin lover. And I've been working in Faith, in relationship. This is my company. It's based in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. So actually, original, I'm from Kazakhstan. So before I start to jump in to my session, let me explain the background of how I started to do Java to Kotlin migration. Company I was working in Faith. It's startup where application, all these features are updating increasingly. Every 2 weeks we do some kind of release, and the application was written in Java 2016. So we were following MVVM architecture, RX Java, Dagger, and it was written in Java. So this is my application. What kind of feature, to imagine how big is application, let me explain. In our application we have payment, table ordering, cashbacks, deals, and review and comments. But to really manage this application, it's huge. We used to have our website. So after long discussion, we've decided to divide our application into two. Faith consumers, where you can see the results, and Faith merchant when we really manage the application. Yeah. So and the Faith merchant is going to be written from the zero, and I really had a chance to lead up this project. And while this time, it was last year, September, I had a chance to write everything in Kotlin. This is a new project, new technology, everything. Cool. So I have a project, I have a technology. So what am I going to do next? Yep. How I'm going to write from the zero, in new language, using new technologies. And I told you, it's already startup. We have our own team, and everyone understands that if I'm writing any code, all my team members should be able to read. So this was requirements from my team. We need to have our similar architecture. We have our old application, and our new application should have the similar architecture that new joiner, or if there is some help, my team could help easier. So another requirement was like having similar frameworks, which is like Dagger, Arax, like retrofit. So I say like, okay, great. I need to just follow old architecture, everything, just to convert it. So what is going to be my steps? Like, understand the basic syntax of Kotlin, convert Java files to Kotlin files, then check all these new Kotlin files and should be good, yep. Like all the documentation, all the like articles, as they say like that it's going to be easy. So while I was doing this, I was thinking like, what can go wrong? Really, what? Everything should be fine. Like everything is already automated, like converted. Kotlin is like Java interoperability. But suddenly, a lot of things can go wrong. And like first one was generic types. So in Kotlin, there is like new keywords for generics in and out. Do we have in Java like this kind of keywords? No, we don't. So what is this? So when I had these mistakes, so what I did really understand that convert Java file to Kotlin file doesn't really solve all these issues. It's not magic, just happened, like fix. And like before to migrate, you have to really read more and like study a lot about Kotlin. So then I read and studied what I learned, like because we already know Java, like it's much easier to compare like Java generics and Kotlin generics. In Java, we really have three like keywords like covariance, contravariance, invariance in generics. Maybe like we don't really remember what about it. Like let me refresh your mind about it. We have our Java language is all about object-oriented programming, which is inheritance. We have parent class user and like children class boss and stuff. We can imagine it like. And the covariance is, you have to remember, like it accepts subtypes. For example, like boss extends user. We can create user by following subtypes, but not vice versa. And in covariance, it's everything about what is return type of method. For example, we have this user class. It returns get message object kind of. It returns object. And we have child class boss, and it's returning string. You could see user is parent class, object is parent class, boss is child class, string is child class of object. So if it's work, this code can compile in Java and it calls covariance. Is it understandable? So next, we have contravariance. This is supertypes. It's vice versa. Like we need to send parameters, but in different way from the children class to the parent in the parameter. Like in the send message method, we are receiving string. In the child class, we are sending parent parameters. Actually, this code is only for understanding, and it's not going to compile at all. So, just to have understanding what is this covariance. Invariance is just our normal simple overriding of the method. just override the method here. We call it invariance. There is no super or subtypes. Let's see what is this covariance in Java collections. Arrays in Java are covariant in their type. For example, we can assign a child class to the parent class. Like you can see, object of arrays can be like initialized from string of arrays. And like second interesting thing is like arrays are covariant in the type that they hold. Like we can hold a string and like integer. But what do you think about it? Is it going to cause any kind of error or bugs, like in generics? Yes. Yeah, great. So next, let's see collections. In Java collections, there is no contravariance. You can see that here. Like we cannot assign their parent class to their subject class, to their child class. And it's going to throw this exception. But what about generic collections? We can have both, and covariant and the contravariant here. Do you have any questions here in the code? So we are having list of child classes, which is both, and like we are assigning it here. Like you can see that it can be like covariant, and in the contravariant we can really check the size of the first and second parameters and assign them to the parent class. Why did I explain all these generics types in Java? It's to understand what is this in and out keywords in Kotlin. We use out keyword in generics Kotlin to define as a return type of the method. Here, user list can accept only user list can produce only E type of classes, and it's not going to like accept it. And like in keyword we are using for contravariance, and like we are accepting only if we are sending any kind of parameters we are using in keyword here. Any questions here? And that one was first mistake or like difficulties I have. And null safety is my second. And everyone knows here, like in Kotlin, we have this question mark, then the variable can be null or cannot be null. And like everyone here like says like, yes, we know about it. It's like everyone who is trying to learn Kotlin knows about it. But why I have mentioned it here? While I was creating the entities or models, I had a struggle for creating these models for API or database. For example, if we are receiving some JSON files, and it can be null or cannot be null, and we need to really like define it in proper way in smart way for database entities. Also, maybe it can be a different. For example, if we are having ID, should it be null, accepted or not? So while you are converting Java to Kotlin, I think this is the most important thing while you're creating the models. Third thing is like companion object. There is no static keyword in Kotlin. So when I just converted through the Android Studio, it gives me this kind of code, like companion object, and there is like message. Actually, in Java, message value is static. So like, first of all, I was thinking, oh, it's great. It's not giving any mistakes, so it should be perfect. But later, like when I was reviewing and studying more, I understand that we can use constant key to define our static classes here. And the fourth thing is single expression functions. In Java, we usually have like one-line methods. Like you can see, like we are returning some cashback. And in generated code, after like automatic generation, we are going to have like this kind of code. But really, after like reviewing and like refactoring my code, I could understand that I can write everything in one line. So actually, it saves a lot of space, and readability is like much more easier for me like right now. Here is, let's start my own takeaways, like what I have learned from like 4 or 5 months of migrating my application from Java to Kotlin. Maybe it will help. Yep. First, use Kotlin goodies. Like there is no Java architecture, no Java design patterns. Like before, you just convert it like me. Better you go and read what is this like special things in Kotlin. Like maybe there is sealed class, data class, or like special design patterns that you can use. So, second, like plan your migration strategy. Like I started without any plan. Like I said, like, oh, I have this project. Let's start to convert class by class without any kind of like plan. So now maybe I should have done it differently. Like first, maybe I should start from the abstractions. It's like generic types, architecture, like entities, models. Then we go to like business logic. Then the latest part, we can use it like convert it our like a UI layer. And like check all your frameworks for compatibility with Kotlin to keep them from the rain, like from the bugs, everything. So like this frameworks actually works well with Kotlin, and I'm using them a lot. But for example, different kind of frameworks are not really compatibility with Kotlin. So this is my sharings for today. Do you have any questions?